Welcome along to the deep dive. Today, we're grabbing a piece of recent news, something that maybe looks pretty simple at first glance, and we're gonna, really unpack it, find those deeper meanings, the surprising bits, and yeah, the genuinely heartwarming details for you. Our whole mission here is always to get you up to speed quickly on a story that honestly has way more going on than you might think. So, what's on the table today?
Well, it's all about the global superstar BTSV Kim Taehyung, as many know him, and we're zooming in on something that happened recently, something pretty unexpected that really caught fans' attention everywhere. And I think it gave us a really different look at the artist, behind the fame.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's so interesting, I think, is that we're looking past just, a celebrity showing up somewhere or some scheduled thing. We're sort of asking, what can one single action, something that seems kind of spontaneous, what does that really tell us about someone's character? What does it show about loyalty, real loyalty? And how do these surprising, really personal connections become, visible, even for someone living under that intense, constant spotlight? That's really the heart of what we're digging into today.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. So the story really kicked off on July 28th. That's when, totally out of the blue, these photos started doing the rounds online, BTSV back in Korea. Oh. And this wasn't like a planned fan event or anything, no big announcement. It was a genuine surprise. Fans were super quick to spot these photos shared by a netizen, right? Just an online user who managed to capture him.
Mm. And connecting that to the specific details we have, it wasn't just him appearing in Seoul or, a major hub. The source is quite clear. V went to the Second Corps. That's a specific military unit located up in Chuncheon in Gangwon-do province. So this wasn't just dropping by somewhere convenient. It was like a deliberate trip to a particular place, kind of out of the way.
Right. So he's back in Korea, no heads up, just landed after a long flight, you said.
Apparently so, yeah.
And he makes this trip. But the big question is why? Why that specific place? Why travel all that way, basically right after getting off a plane?
And this, I think, is where the story gets really quite telling. He made this surprise visit simply to congratulate a fellow soldier, someone who was being discharged from their military service that day. Just think about that for a moment. For someone like V, with his schedule, his level of global fame, the sheer personal effort, the commitment it takes to make that specific trip, straight after flying international, just to be there for a peer's, big moment.
Yeah.
That's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? When you think about how celebrity appearances usually work, they're so managed, so planned out. Publicists involved, media strategies. This just feels completely different. It wasn't for the cameras, not for PR. It feels like a genuinely unscripted personal gesture.
Exactly. And that touches on a really important distinction, I think, between the public image and sort of private values.
Yeah.
For an idol like V, whose life is, let's face it, incredibly managed and presented to the public, an action like this, totally unprompted, it speaks volumes. It suggests he genuinely values relationships beyond just the needs of his career. Choosing to prioritize a personal connection like that, despite all the hassle, the logistics, the privacy issues, it really humanizes him, I think, in a profound way. It shows that even these huge global stars, they form real bonds. Lasting ones.
And then there's the whole context of military service in Korea, right?
Yeah.
Something almost every young man goes through. It's a time known for tough training, shared difficulties, and also for building incredibly strong friendships, camaraderie.
Absolutely. That shared experience is key.
Yeah.
So when a global superstar, someone who, could probably get a pass on making such a personal effort because of his fame and crazy schedule, when someone like that chooses to fly back, travel immediately to a specific military base, just to say congratulations to a fellow soldier finishing their service, it validates that whole shared military experience. It really underlines the idea that the camaraderie formed there, it sticks. It transcends fame or social status. It's a powerful way of saying, yeah, those connections we made, they genuinely matter to me.
So bringing it all together then, what does this specific action BTSV flying back unexpectedly on July 28th, going straight to the Second Corps in Chuncheon just to congratulate a soldier on discharge, what does it really tell us?
It shows, an incredible level of dedication, doesn't it? A deep personal connection, a real sense of loyalty. Like you said, it wasn't just popping in. It was a deliberate, effortful act, an act of appreciation that points to something genuinely human. And if you take that specific act and sort of connect it to the bigger picture, the value we place on human connection, on these surprising gestures, it becomes even more meaningful. Think about it. A public figure of his level, constantly watched, choosing to make such a personal, effortful trip just to congratulate a peer. It's honestly amazing. and pretty rare, you have to say. It really reinforces this idea that even when life is incredibly public, it's often those quiet, genuine acts of loyalty, of personal commitment. Those are the things that truly define who someone is.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In a world that's often full of, grand public gestures and carefully crafted performances, what does it really mean when someone makes a huge personal effort for something deeply private, an act that's purely supportive? How do these moments, maybe seemingly small on the global stage, how do they maybe redefine what we think we know about people in the spotlight? And I guess what kinds of personal connections are truly worth that effort? Definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.